Hi, ladies and gents. Welcome to another edition of the Dusty Thunder podcast. I have with me a very special guest. You know him. You love him. He's my mini-me, Kadin Thunder.
Hello.
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 Hi.
How you been?
I've been good.
Good as good.
Yeah. I've been working. I've been editing Dusty Thunder videos.
Are you sick of seeing my face yet?
No, not really. Maybe the day will come, but so far I'm good. I get into my routine and I do what I need to do. I chop your face up. It's
as long as you're chopping my face
fun.
up, it's okay.
It's fun because I like to pick funny thumbnails to put on YouTube. So
yeah, you had a good one yesterday.
Yeah, it's the you sticking your belly out like this.
Yeah,
it was good. I enjoyed that one.
I have no idea what I was talking about, but it was.
It made for a really good thumbnail. That's for sure.
That's true. Mm-hmm. Yes, I really pushed it out too.
You got to push it.
Push it real good. So the whole Love Island journey has now come to an end since Tony has finally gotten through the finale.
Unfortunately,
so we're not really talking Love Island in the office anymore. What have you been watching lately?
Lately, I've been watching From on Amazon, which is a fantastic show. Those of you who've seen it, it's from the creators of Lost. It's they really like their four letter simple titles, don't they?
One word titles.
Lost, From. Yeah, it's nice. It's a good show.
Who directed Nope? Was that Jordan Peele?
That was Jordan Peele.
So I think Jordan Peele has an affinity for those one word titles.
Yeah,
too.
he's got like Nope, Us, and Get Out, which is two words, but
two short words.
Short, simple titles, which are all awesome movies too, by the way. Yeah. Those are some of my favorite horror movies, I think.
Speaking of horror movies, we're coming up on Halloween. You're a Halloween month babe.
I am a Halloween month babe.
Do you feel like you have a special affinity to Halloween because it's your birthday month?
Yeah, I feel like I'm haunted. I feel like sometimes if I walk that other, like, I feel like I'm haunted.
Wait, hold on. You feel like sometimes if you walk?
Yeah, I feel like you ever just be walking and you feel like something else is walking too?
You feel like there's a spirit walking with you?
Maybe. I don't know. But
did you get like chills on the back of your neck sometimes?
One time I was in the woods and we were in a cemetery and this woman approached us and she said that a man had died there and that he spoke to her, and I didn't say anything, but I felt that she was telling the truth. So I think that maybe the spirits could be walking with us. I'm just sharing my experiences.
Paranormal stuff. I have very little to no doubt that it actually happens and 100%. It's out there. And there's spooky shit happening all around us. I've had my fair share of encounters, but not in this building somehow. This building is super old. There's upstairs.
There was like a whole big like area upstairs in the back room when you first moved in, right? Because I remember as a wee child walking around the darkness. It was a brothel.
Yeah. Well, but yeah,
upstairs where like they had like the tunnels and everything.
Yeah. So on the other side of the breezeway that goes into, it's all one big building, but connected to us is a bookstore downstairs, and up above that has never been anything else since it was the OG original brothel. Except for like some storage. So it's original hardwoods. It's the original plaster walls. And where the stairwell used to be, there are a bunch of names with years written. And it's like Charlie, 1894.
Now, why do you think they call it a brothel? Because I can't imagine they're making much broth.
I imagine they're making lots of broth.
Yeah.
Making baby broth.
Baby broth. I'm going to use that.
I'm not ready to be a grandfather, so if you could hold off on the baby brothing, that would be.
Oh, I won't be using it for that.
That would be ideal. Anyway, it's like
I'm an artist.
There's a lot of history back there, obviously, but I've never in this building felt the paranormal vibe. Not like I
No.
have at other places.
Not here, not like the woods with that woman in the cemetery. No, I didn't feel it like that. But she did have a spooky vibe about her. And also, when I was a small child, apparently I was taking a bath. And there's more to the story. And I saw a shadowy figure. I said, there's a shadowy figure, but in a childlike essence is how I said that, in fact. And I don't remember that story, but my mom actually has told me about that story. And apparently I was spooked as a child in the bathroom once. And I have a younger brother on my mom's side who was taking a bath, similar to how I did in a childlike fashion. And he complained about the same shadowy figure in the same room, in the same bath, when he was bathing in there alone, around the same age. So it makes you wonder.
Indeed. You got spooked in the bathroom one time. You were still a young child, a little bit older though. But you came running out of the bathroom and said that you couldn't find your underwear and the toilet wouldn't flush.
Oh yeah, I remember that. That was traumatizing. I engraved it. It's like if my brain was like inside out, you go to the core memory section and there's like a red orb and it's losing underwear in the toilet. Yeah, that one was scary. Yeah,
they were in the leg of his pants, so they weren't lost. But he thought that he had somehow flushed them and clogged the toilet.
And I thought that was game over. I thought I was going to. I was out, down for the count. Life was over after that.
I've finally done it. I've crossed the line.
Yeah.
I've flushed my undies. There's no turning back. Yeah. Life is over. Game over. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200.
Nah, that was flipping the Monopoly board upside down. All my chips were gone. I had no cheddar. I was no underwear. No, it was in the toilet. I was flushed away. It was scary time. Scary time in my life. But if I can make it through that, you can make it through whatever you're going through.
Anything. We do have a collection of stories that Kadin Thunder has curated for us today. And she, knowing Kadin as well as she does, tried to curate some stories for us that would be fitting for his personality and the kind of banter that we have. So
what is my personality?
You have a very reserved, understated kind of humor. And you know that.
I know that, but I just I can't really comprehend myself.
I don't think anybody really
I just happen.
You are inevitable.
I don't know if I'm inevitable. Thanos. I could pretty easily be stopped. You could be like, stop. And I'd be like, okay.
You could inevitable unless it's toilet. Unless it's toilet.
Yeah, unless I'm flushing my underwear down the toilet. Yeah. You could be like, go that way. And I could be walking down the sidewalk this way. And I'd be like, okay. That's pretty. Whatever the opposite of inevitable is, I'm evitable. Evitable. Not inevitable, but evitable.
Evitable. It's evitable. Well, I think that we can have a lot more fun with fun stories rather than like really intense, heavy shit.
I agree.
So I think that's where she's gone with this. We'll find out. But I think this is going to be a little more lighthearted and fun. So we'll dive into it and see if that happens to be the case. You ready to dive into the first one?
Let's hope so, because I've had enough cemeteries and forests with scary women for one day.
Yeah. Also, since you edit all the videos,
that's true.
All the heavy shit that I read, even offline, which this morning I recorded a VIP exclusive. That was a 44-minute long recording,
and I just got done editing one that was before the cut. It was 2 hours.
Yeah. So you get to absorb a lot of heavy shit.
All the spicy stuff comes directly to me, and I'm the hot sponge, if you will. Maybe not. Sponge.
You're
maybe
like,
not that.
You're like the colon of the content.
You can call me the content colon.
The content colon. He's the colon of the content organism that we've built here.
Mitochondria.
Everything passes through him.
I'm the powerhouse of the cell.
All right. Our first story actually comes from Petty Revenge and is titled, I and a Friend Crop Dusted a Table Because They Made Our Server Cry. Based on title alone, we can play the game here where we guess the Ask on Scale rating of OP. Even this is Petty Revenge.
Okay.
We could still do that. So crop dusting a table because they made your server cry.
Would I do it? Would you do it? I think you'd do it.
I'd do it. 100%.
I think you'd, because crop dusting a table because they made our server cry.
That's right. So they probably had the same server, I'm assuming.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. That sounds like something that you would do, actually.
Yeah. I don't even know that I would crop dust it because I don't even know that I would attempt to make it silent.
You just straight hard boil it.
Yep.
Drop the eggs into the eggs into the furnace and let those baby chickens hatch.
They'd be running for cover. They'd be like ducking.
The baby chickens?
No, the people at the table.
Oh, yeah.
Also, I think it's kind of funny how, and I don't know if this is an American thing or if this is like it all across the world, but if you were very literal and read this, you would think, what did the table do wrong?
Yeah.
Right. Because when you say a table, you mean like the people at the table, obviously. You crop dust a table, like the table can't smell you. It doesn't care.
Yes.
But the people at the table, I'm sure, very much care.
Table meaning the people seated at the table.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah. Well, I wonder what they did to make the server cry.
We'll find out. Here we go. So would you give them an ASCON scale rating?
I'm going to go ASCON 2 just because.
They definitely shouldn't have done it.
No, wait, what's ASCON? Oh, okay, wait. Hold on.
I had a friend crop dusted a table because they made our server cry. It's NTA for me.
NTA for that. I meant the table. It's probably ASCON 1 or 2.
The people who did the deed that caused them to get crop dusted?
Yeah, the burning baby chickens.
It was my friend's birthday and a group of us had planned to take him out to his favorite restaurant. When we get there, party of 8, we were sat next to a smaller table full of dudes who fit the stereotype of dude bros. After roughly 5 minutes, we discovered that they were going to be a problem. They were pretty loud and rude, giving their server a hard time. Soon our server came, and it was the same girl who was serving the rude table. She apologized for the wait and made a comment about how she had a lot on her plate. Restaurant pun. We told her it's fine and we understand. She takes our drink orders and gives us some more time to pick our food. A few minutes go by and we hear yelling. From what we gathered, one of the dudes wanted a drink, alcoholic, but didn't bring his ID. The server was doing her best to remain calm and keep control over the situation. He kept gesturing to his phone and we heard the server. I'm sorry, but I can't accept a screenshot. Finally, one of his friends steps up and says he'll buy the drink for him. The server does her best to explain that he can't. It's illegal and she would get in big trouble for it. Dude 2 then gets upset and now the whole table is in an uproar. Finally, the server says that she'll get her manager and quickly leaves in tears. The birthday boy is pissed and says he's going to say something. Lucky his girlfriend steps in. That's when another friend smirks and says, I have a better idea. We'll call him Jack. Jack goes, I have to fart. Being on the same wavelength, I smile and go, so do I. Jack, are we going to crop dust this table? Me, I think we are. The rude table is located in a way that you'd have to walk by them to get to the bathroom, and you can walk either left or right of the table. Jack stands up first and makes his way to the bathroom. When he disappears around the corner, that's when the effects hit. At first, the dudes think it's hilarious, pointing out one particular guy and placing the blame on him. He doesn't think it's so funny and is steadily getting mad. That's when I step up. I make my way to the bathroom, passing on the opposite side of the table that Jack did. When I clear the corner, Jack is standing there with a shit-eating grin. We stand there and listen to the true chaos begin. The rude table doesn't find the second crop dusting as funny as the first one. Now they're yelling and pointing fingers at each other. The icing on the cake is that when the manager finally comes over and tells them that they're being too loud and they're going to have to leave if they don't calm down, they're pissed and then start complaining about their server. Jack and I couldn't see the manager's face, but he was quiet for a good minute before he started talking again. He has to explain the law to them when it comes to alcohol, adding on that the table can't be served alcohol at all due to Dude 2's comments about buying it for someone else, since they can't confirm that the person who is going to drink it is 21. They're super pissed at all this, but stay. They get a new server who is a very buff man with a face that says, fuck around and find out. They spend the rest of their time with basically their heads down in shame. Bravo for this.
Yeah.
Hell, you know what I love most about how OP and his buddy here at their table approached this?
What's that?
I assumed at first if they were both down for crop dusting this table and if you could walk on either side of the table, my assumption would be
double whammy them.
You wingman this, right? So you both go at the same time and you crop dust along both the edges so it kind of fades in and then it's just one massive bad thing. The fact that they staggered this by timing and by sides, really smart.
So of all the crop dusting methods, I think that is probably one of the if not the best crop dusting method
It's
that
pretty damn good.
there's this is an art. There's many people that put lots of time and effort into the crop dusting field. It's ever growing. I've heard lots of good things about it. Yeah, this is one of the best crop dusting methods that I've seen. I do actually have some interesting insight on the alcohol and license category as well, because I used to work in a retail store at Sam's Club, and we had a policy. I do not work for that place anymore. Good riddance. We can get into that later. I've already gotten into it before. There'd be people who would come in and try and buy alcohol, like large groups of like younger dudes, probably like frat dudes, college age, people who are trying to get drinks. One of them would have their ID. The rest of them would be like, oh, we didn't bring it. We left it in the car or something like that. Well, it's the policy of these retail stores that if one person comes in with their license and the others don't have a valid license, you cannot sell them alcohol, even if they split up and try and buy it, because they'd split up and they'd be like, okay, I'm just going to go to self-checkout and do it. Like, we can't allow that either. And if they leave and come back, if we've seen them that day trying to buy alcohol with other people that didn't have a valid license, we're not allowed to sell any alcohol to them. So people, would get mad, crawl on all fours, do backflips, the girl from The Ring, like that type of stuff. And
that's some wild level of response.
I've had some crazy stuff happen because people couldn't buy their magic juice, but I never crop dusted them. But this has got me thinking maybe I should have
totally
hit them with the Disney Planes 3000.
Yeah, I was going to ask if you had seen Planes.
Planes, I have seen Planes.
You remember the main character's name?
Dusty
Crop Hopper. Dusty Crop Hopper.
You're a plane.
Only when I crop dust. Dusty Crop Hopper.
Yeah, we got to do something with that.
We do.
We got to build you a plane and put your face on it.
I'm down
on the front, not like on the side, like a normal plane, but like we'll put your eyes on the headlights.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I'm down. Planes don't really have headlights, but
we'll make it have headlights. Nobody's built a plane like we have before.
I'm 100% down for this.
And we'll crop dust. It'll be a crop duster.
I wonder if OP ever let the server know. The server who these guys were,
let them know.
Huge douche canoes too. I wonder if they ever told her.
It would be nice to know that someone stood up for you by shitting themselves gaseously onto the table. I would like to hear that if I was a server. I'd like it if someone walked up to me and they were like, yeah, I did it for you.
That's right.
I would appreciate that.
I'd shit myself for you.
Like, yeah. Vengeance is a shit cloud.
Vengeance is a shit cloud. I've convinced the Navy that farts are just bad butt breath.
Bad butt breath. I like that.
That's bad butt breath.
Yep.
Sorry. Just keep your butt closed.
Bookmark that. There's nobody back there.
Bookmark that. Clip it.
Clip that.
It. I like it. Well done, OP. I think it's a good start. And if this sets the tone for what else is to come here, I think we're in really good shape.
Absolutely, yeah.
All right, let's dive into our next one here. Story number 2 from AITA is titled, Am I the Astronaut for Refusing to Let My In-Laws Stay With Us After They Trashed My House Last Time? All right, play the title game. Based on title alone, Am I the Astronaut for Refusing to Let My In-Laws Stay With Us After They Trashed My House Last Time? I'm NTA on this.
After they trashed my house last time. Wow.
So they've been there once already, and they had no respect for the place, apparently.
Yeah. I would go NTA because that's not a nice thing to do.
Right.
And I don't like that.
I think it's a level of disrespect.
Yeah.
And the precedent now is that they're going to f*** up your place. So, what, fool me once?
I mean, I have more stories to share from my wonderful world of magic, but I'll wait until after the story. But yeah, I'm gonna go NTA. I think that is not cool, and that is what I think.
We'll see. We'll see how. I mean, normally it's not the in-laws that show up and trash.
Normally not. No. So it makes that a bit odd. But we'll see.
Yep. Here we go. So here's the situation. A couple of years ago, my wife's female 34 brother, John, male 36, and his wife, Sarah, female 35, were going through a rough patch and needed a place to stay for a few weeks while they figured things out. Okay, so it's not like mother-in-law, father-in-law. It's like brother and sister-in-law. My wife, being the caring person she is, asked me, male 37, if they could stay with us temporarily, and I agreed because family's family, right? Well, the few weeks turned into nearly 4 months. During that time, they completely took advantage of our hospitality. John treated our house like it was his own personal man cave, leaving trash everywhere and never helping with chores. Sarah wasn't much better. She kept borrowing things from our kitchen and bathroom without asking and never replaced anything. Our guest room looked like a tornado hit it when they finally left. The worst part, they had 2 kids, 5 and 7 at the time, and while I get that kids can be a handful, they were out of control. They would run through the house at all hours, break things, and scream over every little disagreement. My wife and I repeatedly asked John and Sarah to rein their kids in, but it always fell on deaf ears. After they moved out, it took us weeks to clean up the mess they left behind, and we even had to replace some broken furniture. My wife apologized, and we agreed that we wouldn't put ourselves through that again. Fast forward to now. John and Sarah are once again having issues and asked if they could stay with us for a little while they figure things out again. My wife immediately said yes, but I put my foot down and said absolutely not. I reminded her of the disaster that was their last stay and told her I wasn't willing to go through that again, especially since they hadn't apologized or even acknowledged how badly they treated our home the last time. My wife is upset, saying that I'm being heartless and that family comes first. She thinks I should give them another chance and says that I'm overreacting, but I feel like I'm just setting boundaries. We have 2 kids of our own, and I don't want them to have to deal with the chaos that John and Sarah always seem to bring. Now my wife is giving me the cold shoulder, and her family thinks I'm the bad guy for not helping out any time of need. So, am I the astronaut for refusing to let my in-laws stay with us after they trashed my house last time?
Man,
your thoughts?
That makes me want to like they need to know how it feels to disrespecting somebody's home like that is obviously not okay. It makes me want to like put them in a box and like fill the box up with trash and drop the box in a pool and shake it up, but make sure they have straw so they can breathe. But just the trash is the
they need to feel the pain, is what you're saying.
Yeah. In the pool, and the pool's lukewarm, but it's not the nice lukewarm. It's the lukewarm that leaves your skin feeling slimy and unexfoliated.
So a dirty pool that's lukewarm.
It's not dirty. It's just not right. Yeah.
A pool that's only become warm by the grace of pee.
The pool, yeah, it's like pee pool.
Pee pool.
Drop them in a pee pool.
Drop them in that pee pool. Mix it up with trash.
Yeah.
Put them in a box.
Yeah, so I wouldn't let them. I mean, I get that the wife wants them to wants you to be open to, supporting family and helping them out, but they were super horrible house guests the first time, like. Why would you? I wonder, was your wife unbothered by the amount of trash that they left?
No, she was bothered.
She was bothered by it too?
Because she agreed once they finally left. My wife apologized and we agreed that we wouldn't put ourselves through that again.
But then she just immediately let the butter melt and sizzle on the pan and put that syrup all over it?
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, whatever that means, but yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I wonder why wife is so quick to maybe, I don't know.
She forgot.
She forgot?
Yeah. Well,
she forgot the pain.
It's been enough. Yes. Pain fades, right?
Yeah.
I mean, to a certain point. Then there's a point, like a traumatic point.
You can remember feeling
fades.
the pain, but you don't remember how the pain feels.
Right.
So
for her, it's been long enough that the recency isn't a factor anymore. But OP remembers all too well and is like, no. Now, so the one thing that I think you should really run hard with OP here is that this line that I just read a second ago where you said, we agreed that we would never put ourselves through this again. It was an agreement that you two made together because you're reinforcing it. That doesn't make you the asshole. She's the asshole for backtracking on it. And for being willing to put you and your kids through this shit. If she wants to host them, she can go somewhere else and host them.
Yeah.
But it's not okay for her to be willing to sacrifice her family for these 2 people who have no respect for her or your family.
Yeah,
they're trashy vermin.
Send them to the pee pool.
That's right.
One time, share a story of my own along the same lines before we give a final verdict. One time I was living in a dorm, a young lad, and I had a friend who was more of an acquaintance, but we'll call him a friend at that time. He came over to hang out with me, and I had little food in my dorm because you know how college dudes live. I had like a box of Pringles, and not even a box, it was a tube of Pringles, and
couple packages of ramen.
Legitimately couple packages of ramen, and like I wasn't on my Diet Coke wave yet, so I probably had like a half drinking Dr. Pepper in my fridge. He came over, and I mean, I had like some Cheetos and stuff. Like I had like snacky stuff. I didn't have like food. He came over. He's like, I want to hang out. So, and this dude is, he came over. He ate all my food. He left all the trash all over my dorm. Basically disregarded my existence the whole time I was there, and then said that he had to leave because he felt that there were too many skin cells in the air. So, to that, I say this.
Wait, what the hold on.
Okay, yeah, let's talk about that for a second.
You had a buddy who had to leave because he thought there were too many skin cells in the air?
So, this guy, yeah, he's a special he's a special kind of guy. He's off the deep end now, but yeah, at that time I was hanging out with this dude, and we were mutual friends kind of, so we didn't really, he was like the third friend that would show up when I hung out with one friend, so we weren't really ever having like our solo hangout adventures. But that friend was off on his own being Rambo or something, so we were like, well, maybe we can hang out just us, because we don't ever hang out, like, you know, the two friends that aren't really friends but they're friends with the other friend. So we were like, okay. He came over to my house, ate all my food, left trash literally everywhere, and then yeah. And it wasn't like a messy dorm or anything. Like, I cleaned, but he said that there were too many skin cells in the air, and he had to leave. And no, we were not elevated. There were no elevations. He felt that there were too many skin cells. And so once that guy left, I did not allow him back at my dorm. My roommates were also present at the time. They have their own room, but I was like, this guy said that we had too many skin cells. And my roommate was like, I got rid of the skin cells last Wednesday. There's no skin cells. We didn't have skin cells. That was a funny joke. But I wouldn't bring that dude back to my house. So I ask you this, OP. I don't know. I'm not asking you anything, OP, but I'm telling you. I'm telling you, this guy, this family, this brother-in-law and sister-in-law, I wouldn't let them back into my house because they're bringing unnecessary skin cells into your domain.
Truth.
But legitimately, no, I wouldn't allow that into my house. So I think it's, yeah.
To your point here, your bro,
yeah,
who came over
Mr. Skin Cells,
and ate all your food and left your house trashed and barely acknowledged your existence.
Yeah.
Remember that feeling, because that's what it's like to have a child. A teenager specifically. But I want you to remember,
except for I have to leave because there's too many skin cells.
That part. No, not that part. Everything before that, yeah, that's having a kid. So you hang on to that and remember it.
Yeah.
The next time you're trying to make some baby broth.
Yeah. Ooh. I think I'm gonna only do baby broth light. I'm not gonna. There will be. That's not what.
I don't think there's any gold down this path.
The only. I don't. Well, we're gonna put them. The only baby broth that I make will be going in soup, and
no, it's not getting better. I'm telling you, there's no point in pursuing this further. There's no saving.
I rest my case.
Good job. Good time to rest your case. Now, I think this goes back to the fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me. Right? So for you, OP, and for your wife, y'all would be the assholes if you let this happen again, specifically to your children. And I would point this out to your wife and be like, hey, it is a lot easier to make a decision for someone else's benefit than it is for your own. So use your kids here and be like, hey, if for no one else, why would you want to put them through this? And imagine for a moment, I'm assuming if this is happening right now, this is during school year, trying to balance schoolwork, which gets harder every year, with chaos at home is hell.
And the brother-in-law, sister-in-law, they had kids of their own, didn't they?
Yes,
or did they not?
Do.
Okay.
They do, yeah.
So I wonder how your kids feel about those kids being there too, because we didn't hear much about like if those kids treat them poorly or if they get along or what the children's feelings were about this too. But it doesn't sound like it was a very good experience for anybody.
Yep.
So you got to also think about your kids. They don't want that juju.
And your wife's family's argument here that it's family and family should come first. Your family should come first.
Yeah, 100%.
Your circle, your family, the family that you created should come first.
Mm-hmm.
Then your other family can be involved there, and they would come next, as long as it's not to the detriment of this family, the original family. So
yeah, no. just because you're a Targaryen don't mean you get to ride your own dragon.
That's right. So I mean, what you could do here is tomorrow when your wife comes home, just make sure your bedroom's full of trash, and then be like, I just wanted to give you a preview of what it is that you want so badly to relive again.
Yeah, you should set up like a little jigsaw doll in the middle with the TV.
There you
and once she walks in, the door locks and the TV turns on, and you're like, this is what it feels like. Trash.
Have fun. Have fun.
Yeah.
The in-laws are trash. Leave them
So
behind.
we're going NTA for OP.
100%.
NTA for OP. What would you rank the in-laws on the ASCON scale?
They're ASCON 1. They're garbage. And they're intentionally garbage.
Yeah.
The whole, like, they're having a rough patch. I wonder if they're having a rough patch because everywhere they're staying, they're trashing and getting kicked out.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like they care very much for their surroundings or who they affect whenever they're not caring about things or having a rough patch. So
it's a them problem.
Yeah, it's a them problem.
100% them problem. Leave that trash outside. Leave that trash outside. Okay, we're going to dive right into the next one. We're just flying through stories here. This next story comes from Am I Overreacting and is titled, Am I Overreacting? I think my friend has eyes for my wife, with an update. I know. It's hard to cast a verdict on this one on title alone. Because I would think,
my friend. Well, context clues. He says, I think. So he doesn't know.
Correct.
But there would be no story if he was just like, I think, but I'm wrong at the end. So
it's true. Unless he did something real bad.
True.
In general, I'd say trust your gut, right? And if you get a vibe,
trust your gut, but don't proceed until you have a little bit of evidence.
Right.
Like if you have a reason to believe.
Verify your gut.
If you just had a dream and then you woke up because let me tell you, sometimes my girlfriend has dreams that I cheated on her, and then she wakes up and she's like, asshole. And I'm like, I just woke up. What are you talking about? She's like, I dreamt that you were dating Oprah Winfrey. And I was like, I never date Oprah Winfrey. So don't be having dreams, but as long as they're more than dreams, then you can trust it.
Well, even if it is your gut, I'd say trust your gut enough to not dismiss it, but you have to verify.
You can you can bookmark it, put it in your brain folder, but don't submit it to the library until you have more bookmarks.
Yes. Just to clarify, yes, put it in your brain folder, not your meat wallet. All right. Title of this one again was Am I Overreacting?
Roll right on after that?
I think my friend has eyes for my wife with an update. Part 1. I have a wife that I've been with for over 10 years and have been married for 3. We have a 10-month-old son. I recently met a guy who turned out to have a lot of common interests with me, both into finance, fitness, and stuff. We started hanging out more and more and working out together weekly in my home gym garage. Obviously, we are spending time together and we shoot the shit often. His situation is that he's single, a father of a 7-year-old girl, and his ex is a super bitch to him. She publicly talks down to him the few times we all went out to dinner together. He still has to see her because they are co-parenting, but he's been trying to date for the past year. Anyway, we got onto the topic of what he's looking for in a girl because he keeps on going on dates and they all suck according to him, and none of the girls are his type. So I ask what his type is, and he starts describing the traits of my wife. Could be a coincidence. Whenever we go to dinner, he'll be telling a story or whatever and show a picture on his phone, but only to my wife. I have to ask him to see what the picture is before he puts it away. Not that I care too much, but feels sus. Whatever. We've been hanging out more and having game night at my place with him and a few other friends. Whenever he's in the presence of my wife, he takes my son and puts him on his shoulders and plays with him in front of her. Makes weird comments, at least I think so, in front of my wife, like, I love being a father and providing for a family. I wish I had a wife that was as good at raising kids as you. Let me know if I can help you in any way with your son. Always directed to my wife and never me. Okay, whatever. The thing is, these comments have been setting off eye raises for me. So when I was working out with him the other day, I said, do you think my wife is attractive? He said, oh, hell yeah, dude. Your wife is hot. I said, thanks, but it raised my antenna even more. Now, the reason I'm writing this is because his most recent comment to me was, do you think your wife can find a girl for me at her workout class that looks like her?
Yeah.
This coupled with what happened the other day at dinner.
Yeah.
We were going to dinner with him and his family that were in town. It was at a big shopping center, so we were waiting at a Starbucks for them to arrive at the restaurant. He comes to the Starbucks where we are while his family is at the restaurant. He waves and says, we're ready. I start packing my son's bag while my wife handles the stroller. The dude grabs my son and puts him on his shoulders and starts walking out. My wife is walking out and I'm grabbing the bag. Now I'm literally watching this guy next to my wife holding my child while she's pushing the stroller and I'm trailing them. Felt like I was watching a couple and their child and I was seething and feeling displaced. Am I overreacting? Because I'm cutting this asshole off, not letting him anywhere near my wife and kid again. If we happen to see him in a social setting of 6 or less, we're leaving. Edit. Asked my wife if he ever texted her or contacted her in any way on SM or text. She said no. I told her just now I feel he's peacocking, and she said she doesn't get that vibe at all from him. Edit. A female friend came over tonight who mutually knows this guy. She agreed that it's strange and thinks he's crushing on my wife, intentionally or not, and told my wife to her face that. I told my wife that if another female can see it, it's obvious. My wife now says she feels embarrassed that she doesn't see it and says it'll be awkward now because she doesn't want to think of him looking at her that way. Both she and the friend think that it's best if we only see him again in social settings with large groups and not at our house again. Lesson seems to be the general consensus is to trust my gut if I feel like something is off, and it does. Going to talk to the wife and then tell this dude straight and then ghost him. Top comment here. How does a river get through a mountain? One drop at a time. How does an affair happen? One innocent interaction at a time. You said he's very similar to you. That means he's your wife's type. We already know your wife is his type, and he's looking for a new partner / mother for his child. Damn, he's even poaching on your son. Like, what is happening? Before you know it, he's going to start bringing the family dog treats or showing up for coffee when OP's at work or out of town. Before we get into the update, what do you think right now?
This is like that movie Us, but with affairs. Jordan Peele, you know? You ever seen it?
I don't think I have seen Us.
The people in the red jumpsuits with the scissors that can't talk?
Nope, I have not seen
Well,
that.
basically, this dude is like, gosh, I really want a wife. Gosh, I really like kids. Not like that. Gosh, I really, really want to raise a kid and a family that looks just like you and just like this kid. Gosh, it'd be so crazy. Wouldn't it be so crazy if you and I just got married? That's the type of stuff he's doing. So it's like, it's incredibly obvious. And then he's like, do you think it's okay? It's a little weird to me that he's like, do you think that your wife can find me a girl that looks exactly like her? Because that's weird. That's weird on both ends because, like, yeah, it's weird because he's looking for a girl that looks like your wife, but also to straight up ask you if you can ask her that or something. Like, is he just an idiot? Because I don't think I think he's trying to hit on your wife, but I don't think he's smart about it. I don't think he's like a smart dude who could like make an affair work well. I think he's an idiot.
Or he's real smart and he's hitting on her on a way that isn't blatantly hitting on her so that he has plausible deniability here, or he has deniability here. And if ever confronted about it, just be like, oh, dude, I was just being nice and trying to help out. Sorry, man.
Yeah.
You know, there's that.
He's
and
got
also,
that defense set up.
I have been asked by multiple dudes who I was friends with if I could help them find girls that are like the girl that I was dating.
Yeah, I
feel like the fork in the road is this. There is, if you are a true brother to this friend. And that brotherhood is like, you would take care of each other no matter what. You have each other's best interests at heart because you're truly brothers, and you were there for each other because you're basically family. This kind of thing is maybe more symbolic of his brotherhood to you than it is any affection towards her. And he's being completely innocent when he says, can you find, like, I want basically, like, I want you to coach me. Like,
it could be interpreted that way. Yeah,
it's possible. And it's possible that he's just going about this in a really creepy way. The other end of it is also entirely possible, where he's just being blatantly a creeper. And
trying to replace you,
and it's a gaslighting OP into basically squeezing him out of his own family. It's possible.
I thought it was weird that he straight up asked OP if he could ask his wife about finding a girl that looks like her, because obviously he's got some attraction to her and he likes her, but straight up asking that question kind of makes me think that he's not really trying to hide it.
Unless this was like right after OP blatantly asked him, "Do you think my wife is hot?"
Yeah. True, which also
opens up a whole window of conversation here.
I feel like if he was trying to be more sneaky about it, he'd be like, "She's all right," but or unless he doesn't feel any guilt at all. I don't know. It's weird. It's a weird type of guy.
She's smoking hot. Like, it seems like he's more innocent to me.
It's because it's a bad thing to say, but also it shows that he doesn't feel guilt for thinking.
He's not trying to hide.
Yeah, he's not trying to hide it. He's like, yeah, she's freaking hot, dude. So I don't know. We're gonna have to keep reading, but what do you think so far? Do you think that something fishy is going on here?
I don't know. I think I think how I would handle this, or at least how I hope I would handle this with a dude friend, would be, before he came around my family again, to be like, okay, look, I don't want to have this conversation. This is an uncomfortable conversation. I never want to have this conversation again. So let's just talk about this once. We're setting some clear boundaries here. I want to make sure you understand that when you're around my family, this is my family.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you kind of act like you're trying to play the role of me in my family, and nobody likes it. It's creeping everybody out. So be aware. Just be aware. And don't do it again.
It'd be very easy for him to manipulate that into you, making you feel like you're crazy or something too, and be like, that's not what it is at all. Like, why are you overreacting like that? So just make sure that you stand on business.
But also, like, right then you have the defense of saying, it's not just me that thinks this is a creepy guy.
True.
Like, and look, we're friends. I'd like to stay friends with you. So let's just make sure that part of this friendship is also respect and boundaries. And we're good. Good?
Yeah,
we're good.
My
all right.
wife, my
then
child.
you move forward.
Don't mess with it. Yeah.
That's how I hope I would approach it. But there's also this like jealous rage monster inside of
the emotion part of it.
Every
the emotion
human
part
being.
Of it, yeah.
Yes. And if it were me in this position, I felt like somebody was coming on to my wife, I may not be so rational about it.
And trying to be more of a father figure to your child, because that's a whole another box of worms.
While I'm carrying the luggage behind everybody.
Yeah. Like, that's a whole another feeling of like replacement. Like, it's one thing to try and steal, which is obviously a horrible thing, but it's one thing to try and steal your place as your husband. It's another thing to try and steal your place as a father. That's a whole nother level of hurt.
Yeah. I probably wouldn't handle it rationally.
Yeah.
Well, let's get into the update and see if OP did handle it rationally. Here's the update. After all the advice, thank you all, I decided to go the slow cutoff method rather than being direct. Mainly because my thinking is that if you tell somebody that you're wise to their BS, that they may just try to be more covert, cover their tracks, and be sneakier with their behavior, or try to buy sympathy with mutual friends. There was a party we were invited to at his house before all of this unfolded, and I told my wife we weren't going. This caused a bit of tension within our house because it got pretty heated, because while she thinks he's doing it subconsciously, she has zero interest in him, so it doesn't bother her, and she said that she didn't even notice it until I brought it to her attention. Needless to say, the fact that it caused an argument and drama for me was more than enough grounds for me to never have this dude around my wife and kid again, ever. That's fair. Anyway, because he was already introduced to all of my friends in my friend group, he invited all of them to his party. We didn't go, and a few friends asked if we were going. I explained the situation, and a few of them agreed that they saw what I saw. They said they were not going to the party. A couple did decide to go because they and him became close over the fact that they both really are into sports. The girl texted my wife and told her that they were the only couple that showed up. So really, my friends are the only ones he invited. But she also said he had a girl there with him. They said girl barely spoke English, but he said they were dating, but she was acting very odd. Now, this is the part where I'm not sure if he was made aware of my discontent with him, because I had already started cutting him off, not answering calls, not initiating any text, being very curt with my responses, cool bro, etc. At this party, he randomly texted me photos of him with this girl, professing how hot she is and what a great catch she is and how they're dating. One phrase he used, which further raised my suspicions, was, "It'll be good to go on a double date so you can see I have a girl." Yeah, that's pretty sus.
Knows. I think he knows.
I'm thinking to myself, why would he care about that? And what an odd thing to say. So I asked about how they met, and he said Tinder. I asked to see the convo. He deleted the convo. He sent her Instagram photos, and she has 37K followers, and half of her photos are her in Dubai, London, etc., and doing lewd photo shoots. Considering he's a strip club kind of guy, that makes me think he may be paying for this companionship just to get his foot back in the door, but I could be wrong. So all is right. I'm plenty busy with work, and wife and I are fine. Son is happy as can be, and I'm going to make sure that I keep the grass cut so I see the snakes before they get to my door. Thanks everyone for the reassurances. So there's like, we don't find anything out there for sure, but it sure as hell sounds like he either hired a companion for the party, or legit he just, he found a model who doesn't speak good English, and
which is one. It's possible too, but the way he was acting, the way he was like, "See, look, we got to go on a double date so that you can see that I have a girl," like, that's a weird thing to say.
Okay, but here let's talk about possible angles for that, because it could be that he got wise to it himself and he's trying to play defense, or it could be that third party friend earlier on, or another friend said something to him about it.
Could be playing both sides of the fiddle.
Of the fiddle?
Is there not two sides to a fiddle?
Playing both sides of the fiddle. How are you not Kadin Thunder's biological son? It's playing both sides of the field.
Oh. I was trying to do the hand motion for both sides of the fiddle, and
Play both sides of the fiddle. That's fucking fantastic. That is the most Kadin Thunder thing you ever said.
I was legit. I wasn't even trying to do a funny wordplay. I thought that was a real thing.
That's why it's the funniest Kadin Thunder thing you've ever done. It's hilarious. or he confronted someone who he had invited, and they were like, bro here said that you were hitting on his wife, so we're not coming.
Yeah, which is probably there's a lot of, basically, I think he knows one way or another.
Yes,
I think he knows. I think whether he paid for this companionship or he got a date, I think he did it in spite of that. He knows, because of the way he's acting about it and the way he's kind of like being like, "See, I have a girlfriend now. I'm not interested in your super hot wife that I want to marry."
And you know what? That makes it look worse for him, because if he did know, if he were innocent, the thing to do as a brother would be like, "Hey, man, can we talk? Because I just heard that you were uncomfortable, and I had made you guys uncomfortable, and I never want that to happen. I can't believe I made you feel that way. So I want a chance to just fix things and reassure you." But it's
but
not
he
what
did not do that.
He put on more of an act. So it doesn't decrease the sus factor any.
No, it makes it worse. That is a guilty act if he did that out of spite. The other stuff, I was like, well, it doesn't really seem guilty, but maybe he was smart enough to know that it doesn't make him seem guilty. So he did that on purpose. But
no matter what, it doesn't seem like the kind of guy you want around your wife and kids.
No, or as a friend, because that's not. I would want my friends to be people that I can rely on and trust. Like, I don't want a Shane from The Walking Dead, and this is giving Shane vibes. So, yeah.
Truth.
Second the zombie apocalypse starts. The second the zombie.
that was me. That was a me thing.
That was the.
You get your words are hard.
Yeah.
Morning words.
Words are hard. Yeah. Did you say meat wallet
earlier?
Yeah.
Are you going back to that?
Yeah.
Yeah, meat wallet.
I remember. Yeah. Anyways,
you said you were going to put it in your brain folder.
Yeah.
And I said, yeah, brain folder, not meat wallet.
Yeah.
I like to say really inappropriate things and then move right into something else so that there's no time to react.
Yeah, I was thinking about it, but then it got lost in the sauce. But
I got lost in the sauce.
Yeah.
But we've discovered.
Was that me?
Yes.
I didn't even feel that coming from me. What was that? I didn't know I could make that noise. That was news to me.
Hey, my throat does that kind of shit all the time. It's just like your throat when it gets dry or it's resetting.
That wasn't even. That was like it sounded like a baby sheep.
Baby sheep crying.
Man.
What do they call it? Sheep bleating. Bleating.
Bleating.
Yeah,
Bleating sheep.
It was a bleating. My throat was a bleating sheep.
Put that on my tombstone. My throat was a bleating sheep.
People are gonna be like, "What the?" I'd be like, "That sums him up perfectly." Right
I would
there.
leave flowers on that
For sure. Or wool. Okay. Okay. There's another story in here that's like a hidden Easter egg.
Oh,
Because it's not numbered. It's actually posted as part of the last story, like it's an update, but it's not an update. So I don't know genuinely if Kadin Thunder meant to include this as another story, if she didn't realize it was in there. So we're gonna read it because we're moving pretty quickly anyway. So we'll read this through and we'll see what happens. Title of this one is "Am I the Astronaut for Refusing to Discuss My Daughter's Name with My Family Because They Want Me to Change It?"
Oh no. That's always a mess, isn't
It
it?
seems like something I've read something similar before. I was just wanting to make sure it's not the same thing.
I don't
No, I don't think.
I don't think it is.
Okay,
Let's go.
what do you think?
I'm gonna get a sip of my Diet Coke real quick.
That's a good idea.
That was really close. I'm sorry. That was too intimate. Okay. Back to it.
What do you think based on title alone?
I'm gonna go with not the asshole, not the astronaut. Pardon my French.
I would agree. If they already want you to change it, I don't. Yes,
It's
not-
always these
it's not their
situations.
choice.
It's not their choice. It's they want you to be named like Benjamin Button the 41st. It's not. There's people, there's families that really get into these traditions where you carry on names and stuff like that. Not that this is what this is, but just that situation. And there's people that really enjoy that, and power to you. If your family has a tradition like that and you choose to participate in it, that is fantastic. But this is your child. It's not their child. Just like you were their child, not someone else's child. Their parents don't get a say in what your name is when they named you, and not vice versa, but kind of. They don't get a say in what your child's name is. So, I mean, it's the parents' decision. It's not the Smurfs. Well, the Smurf, I don't know. Whenever they get named, like the Smurfs, when they're like 5 or whatever, the Smurfs.
I don't know about their naming conventions.
Well, they don't get named until they like do something. Like if a Smurf, like
you will earn your name, bitch.
Yeah.
Until then, you're just blue guy.
yeah, you're just Smurf. But then like if he like eats a lot of chicken, we'll be like, oh, that's chickeny. Or if it's like the only girl Smurf, like that's Smurfette. Or if this Smurf, like
Right? How is there only one female Smurf?
it kind of makes you wonder.
She's the queen bee. She's got to be.
Well, the queen bee is Papa Smurf.
Yeah. Or is it?
I don't know. Actually, there's 2 because there's a gray Smurf, and she's a girl. The bad Smurfs.
I'm apparently going to have
We're
to
going
rewatch
we're
the
going on a
Smurfs.
Smurf rabbit hole.
Yeah,
here.
there's a lot of drama that I just don't remember.
You guys know,
But
about
you're
the
right.
Smurfs.
It's OP's choice, and it always comes back to traditions. And the best explanation of that I've seen, I think, came through chat one time. But apparently, it's a well-known saying: traditions are just peer pressure from dead people.
Yeah. Oh, that's deep.
It's just peer pressure. That's it. What happens if you say no? Not a gosh heckin' thing.
Unless you get haunted, but
Remember, he was supposed to be Henry the 54th.
what's that? Yeah, what's the bad guy's name from the Smurfs?
Gargamel.
Gargamel. I was
That I
thinking
do
Garfunkel.
Like
That's
Garfunkel, and wasn't there another bad guy, Simon, in there somewhere? All right, let's dive into the story. Am I the astronaut for refusing to discuss my daughter's name with my family because they want me to change it? I, 29 female, gave birth to my daughter, Sloan, 14 weeks ago. My husband, 30 male, and I did not announce her name until she was born. The reason for this is because I knew my family didn't like the name Sloan and would spend their time trying to talk us out of the name. I know this because they started loving the name Sloan when I was a kid. There was a girl in my class from 1st to 3rd grade, and I told my family at the time I thought her name was really cool, and they told me it wasn't. And my parents said it wasn't even a real name.
No names are real.
How? It's not even a real name. Wow. I brought it up a few times, but I remember the negativity. I even remember my mom pitying her because of it. When I was 14, she brought her up and told me she bet Sloan was going by her middle name or a nickname by then. She moved schools after 3rd grade, so I didn't see her. When I was 16, one of my friends transferred schools after a move and mentioned Sloan was in her class and still used Sloan. I rubbed it into my mom's face so hard, but she told me it was still an ugly name and she felt bad for the girl who had to have it as her name. My parents prefer names like Anna, James, Elizabeth, William, and Hannah, which are my siblings and my names. They think they are sophisticated and classic and easy to use through life. They don't think Sloan's a kid's name, just not a real name, and so ugly.
Well,
well, it's a good thing it wasn't their decision. I was lucky that my husband loved the name, and when we talked baby names, he said we could name a daughter Sloan. He also knew how my family felt, so he was on board with keeping the name to us until our daughter was here. You might think the name being official and on the birth certificate would deter any negativity on the name, but since my daughter's name was announced, my family have wanted to sit and discuss the name. They said they never believed I would seriously carry on and name my daughter Sloan. I shut them down and told them I did, and that was that.
Boom.
I have refused to discuss it more. I ignore them via text if I have to, or end calls. I left my sister's house just a week ago because they tried to bring it up. They told me it's childish to run away from a serious discussion. I said we have nothing to discuss, that my husband and I had our discussion on the name, and that was the only one that needed to happen. They told me a part of being a family is hearing each other out, and I'm being childish by refusing their requests. Am I the astronaut?
no. For one, I really like the name Sloan. I think that's pretty cool. If I ever made some baby broth, I might name it Sloan. But you should say something. So I'm not just sitting here after that comment.
You said but.
I know, but then I
was still supposed to jump in.
I don't think about what I say. It's
noted.
Just words.
Noted. You have the same approach with the shock factor thing as I do. It's like something has to pivot quickly, but you want me to jump in and pivot it quickly.
In that situation, yes.
Okay, got it. I'll catch that cue next time.
Thanks.
Understood. It's a cool name. It is a really cool name. You know, you've already heard them out. That would be in my defense now. They're using this argument now that being family is hearing each other out, which I've never heard this law before. But the defense is pretty easy to that one. You've been hearing them out and you know their thoughts on this because they've been repeating them for your entire life.
Yeah.
No need to rehash it. It's crystal clear how they feel.
Yeah,
It's crystal clear how you feel because you made the decision to give her that name. There is no discussion to be had. If they cannot respect that, they won't get to be around Sloan. That has to be the next step.
It sounds just so stupid. Like they have to be named. No disrespect to these names. These names are also cool, but like James or Arthur or. You know, what was it?
They're the classic
well, you just like super
legacy
classic
names.
Legacy names, super simple, not very divisive, not very risque, not very anything, just
not very brothy.
Not very brothy. They're like, what's that one soup that's kind of like water?
Broth?
No, not broth, because they're not brothy. The broth is chunky, isn't it?
No.
What is broth?
Broth is like a juice that is flavored a certain way. I thought
broth was like the chicken chunky stuff, the goop.
That's chicken noodle soup.
Okay, but what's miso soup? What about that?
Miso soup, yeah, sure.
Miso soup's good, but it's not got a lot in it, or does it? I don't know. I love miso soup. No disrespect to miso soup. Anyways, we're talking about names.
Miso would be a cool name.
Miso would be a cool name. Honestly, I really, really like the name Sloan. I don't think that they're being a little ridiculous. It's not like you named the child Megatron 2472. It's not like you named it. What did Elon Musk name his child? The most recent one.
Can't remember.
It was like XAEA 1220. It was named after some sort of like military class fighter jet or something. But for short, they called it Michael or something like that. Anyways, it's not like you named it that. And even then, he can do what he wants. It's his kid. They don't get a say in it.
They don't.
And if they're not sitting you down to talk about it, you should use their own logic against them. Being family is hearing you out. If that's the case, they've never once heard you out about liking this name. They've just thought it's our way or the highway. This name's horrible. That is that. So you can use their own logic against them, and then their whole case falls apart. It doesn't make any sense. They don't have any right to be so upset. And you'd think at the very least they'd stop being butt poopers after you named your child that, but no.
Yeah, the biggest problem here for these butt poopers is that this is not the end.
Yeah.
This is only their opening move in this battle, because the next thing is they're going to make up their own nickname or their own other name completely and start calling your child this name in front of you. Then you're going to have to create another boundary, and you're going to have to stay firm on that. And then they're going to end up choosing a nickname that's closer to Sloan, but still not Sloan. And you're not going to be okay with that. So again, you're going to have to create another boundary here. If you stay firm right now, you don't have to do all of this shit later on. It is their choice if they're going to be a part of this child's life or not. This is not weaponizing a child. This is creating a boundary of respect.
My worry is that they're going to slowly chip away at making Sloan hate her own name.
Ooh.
So that she's not gonna, if they weaponize her against you into hating her own name, then she's, that's game over until she realizes, or if she, ultimately she gets to choose what she's called. End of the day, she can choose
Princess
her nickname.
Consuela Banana Hammock.
Exactly.
Yeah. She could choose that.
Yeah, she could. Ultimately, she's the one who has the legal power to change her name if she wants to once she gets old enough. So if they make her hate her own name, she's at the very least going to go by something different.
I think the only
that's
way
what they would do
to prevent that is to be firm now.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, if you allow it to go to phase 2 and phase 3, like we talked about a minute ago, the chances of them actually respecting the name for life are very, very slim.
Yeah, you got
to stay firm here.
Draw the lines in the sand right now and let them know.
Yeah.
Hey, if you start picking on my daughter because of her name, it's not going to be good. You
could fight fire with fire here too.
Yeah.
And if they start disrespecting the name or come up with their own nickname, something like that, depending on when it happens in Sloane's life, teach her that grandma and papa's names are different than what they actually are. Be like, this is crap bag and this is butt pooper.
Butt pooper, yeah.
Those could be their names. You know what I mean? Oh, you want me to respect your name? Oh, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Could fight fire with fire. So NTAOP, that's garbage that you have these kind of humans to deal with.
Yeah, they're asshole Smurfs.
Poop on that. Let's dive right into the next one, shall we? We have 2 more to go.
All right.
We're making great time, so I'm just trying to plow through as many stories as we can. Just got
100%.
Here. Even that Easter egg one, we found it.
It was nice.
We get a bonus story.
Yeah.
This one comes from Am I the Asshole and is titled, Am I the Astronaut for Staying in a Hotel While My Friend Was Trapped Overnight Inside the Airport? Based on title alone. Thoughts?
I don't know. This one is a little bit less clear cut.
Both things.
Okay. Yeah. Look at that.
It's not the fiddle field thing.
Me got words right today. I don't know. It depends on the context of the situation, and we don't have the context.
Well, we know this. We know that her friend was trapped overnight inside the airport. We know that the friend was not.
Mm-hmm.
What were you supposed to do? Well, I'm assuming that your friend is bitter because you got to sleep in a hotel while they had to be trapped inside the airport. But what did they want you to do? Did they want you to come get trapped in the airport too?
Yeah.
Did they want you to sleep outside of the airport fence in some sign of solidarity to them? Like they wanted you to camp to feel their pain? And if you got a friend like that, that's not a friend. right?
Mm-hmm.
I can't. I don't.
They want you to suffer too, just so they're not suffering alone.
Exactly.
Pain likes company.
Misery likes company.
That's what it was.
And pain.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. My guess is gonna be Ascon 4, just because I want to.
Could have done it differently.
Drop a little bit of seasoning into the soup.
I hear you. Yeah, just mixing it up a little bit. I'm still going NTA.
Okay, we'll see.
It could be terrible. My best friend and I, 20 female, recently went on a trip to the UK. I actually have a UK passport since my dad is British, but my friend had to get a UK visa. We were supposed to take 2 flights, one that would arrive in France and one a connecting flight that would fly to the UK. However, the second flight ended up being canceled. The next available flight wasn't until 2 p.m. the next day, so we would have to wait around 17 hours. The passengers were allowed to stay in nearby hotels for free. However, this didn't apply to people like my friend, who wasn't legally allowed to leave the airport because she didn't have a visa for Europe. Instead, she had to stay within a specific area of the airport that had these bright ceiling lights that would stay on 24/7. There was construction nearby, so there was this extremely loud drilling noise every so often. All the available seats were taken by other passengers, so my friend had to sleep on the floor. Plus, earlier that day, we got spilled on our phone charger. Water got spilled on our phone chargers, and her phone was on only 40%. I had the option to stay with her, but I chose to go up to the hotel instead. She was furious with me, accusing me of being a fake friend. She told me she was scared of being alone in a creepy unknown place and wanted me there to comfort her, and I assured her that I would be back in the morning. She said I was acting selfish for not even spending one night with her, but I hadn't gotten any sleep in over 24 hours, and I didn't see why both of us had to suffer. Am I the astronaut? Before we get into the comments here, this is definitely a different situation than Context Clues told me that it was. What do you think now?
I think it's definitely at least... I don't think it was malicious. I think it was selfish.
This is what happens when 2 selfish people collide.
Yeah, I think that on one hand, the friend who's stuck at the airport doesn't want to suffer alone. And I get being like in a creepy place by yourself without any power to your phone in a foreign country. It's a little scary, and you would want to have your friend there. The way she probably went about it and berated you for wanting to stay in the hotel is probably not great, but also I could see how you abandoning her in a foreign country that you're familiar with, that she's not familiar with, where she's stuck in an airport by herself that's creepy and she can't sleep and there's noises and she can't charge her phone, would also be a bit alarming. So I honestly think the right thing to do would have probably been to stay, but I understand not wanting to stay. But I don't know. What do you think?
I think it's an ESH.
Yeah.
Because... yes, I agree with you. So OP should have offered to stay.
Mm-hmm.
The friend should have insisted that she go stay in a hotel room.
Mm-hmm.
They both should have offered, or they both should have pushed for the thing that was right for their friend and put their friend's needs above their own. Mm-hmm. They both should have. Neither one of them did. They did the opposite. Now, to the friend's point, I get it. Specifically because of like trafficking fears and that kind of thing. Like for a female specifically,
100%.
I'd say you got to stick together.
Yeah.
Even for safety. But again, that is a you choice, and you chose selfishly, OP, instead of thinking of your friend. You thought only of yourself. Your friend. And maybe it's the fear that is making her this way, but she did the exact same thing and thought only of herself, instead of thinking of what was best for you. So I'm at an ESH. I think you both were shitty to each other. Now, this can happen when you're fried, right? When you haven't slept in 24 hours and like travel plans are going sideways, that will make you frizzle, frazzle, fried.
100%.
And you're most likely to be snippy and choose selfishly when you're like that. So right now I'm going to attribute this to friends being fried and thinking only of themselves. But overall, in a vacuum, I think when it comes to somebody's personal safety, that needs to have more weight than comfort. Mm-hmm. Safety outweighs comfort.
Yeah, I think so. I think if everyone is an asshole here, I think OP may be a little bit bigger of a booty ring.
A little more gaping.
A little bit more gaping of a booty ring than the other.
Yeah.
It's a very, very large onion ring.
Top comment, yeah, YTA. That was a really shitty thing to do. On a smaller scale, it reminds me of a friend who told me she wanted me to go to a certain touring Broadway show with her and how excited she was to see it with me. I couldn't afford the $300 seats she wanted to buy and told her, but said that I could afford the $100 seats about 15 rows back. She just brushed me off and said, well, this is where I'm sitting. She was very surprised Pikachu when I told her she would have to enjoy the show alone then. We are not friends anymore. That was 20 years ago. I still keep in touch with her sister, and from what I understand, my ex-friend only has one friend whom she sees maybe once a year. In her sister's words, she's lucky this friend lives far away and only spends 7 days with her a year, or she wouldn't even have that friendship, and has never been able to keep a romantic relationship for more than a few months, and it's all due to that type of selfishness. Consider the fact that what you did was even worse. It wasn't even just wanting to sit away from her in a better seat. It was abandoning her in a foreign country where she was scared. Major asshole thing to do. I know you're only 20, so I'm willing to give you a teeny bit of leeway due to that, but please learn now that your whole "why should both of us suffer" attitude will not serve you well in life. You'll lose more friends than you make. You'll be alienated at work, and you'll find yourself alone more often than not. Selfishness like yours isn't attractive, not even to other selfish people. Wow, well said. Commenter here.
Yeah. Yeah, you've got a good point. Yeah. What do you think?
I think it all comes back to the whole safety trumps everything. Safety trumps comfort.
Yeah.
It outweighs it for
trumps
sure.
Comfort.
But again, I think it's an ESH, and maybe the fact that they hadn't slept in 24 hours is a major contributor to that.
Yes,
because what I said should have happened. They both should have insisted
that is
on the path that was best for the other person.
That's a big contributing factor. I agree with you. I think it's probably everyone sucks here. They just suck in different ways. However, I get not wanting to be like, if I was with my friends and one of my friends was like, I'm gonna go stay at a hotel, you can stay in this creepy airport, like especially as women in a foreign country,
right?
It's a very scary position to be put in, especially with no phone charge. Like, I get it.
And essentially, you put a feather bed over your friend's safety. So, it's not very cool.
Yeah,
it's the equivalent of like I was going to say, like walking through the woods and finding like one sleeping bag. What do? Does one person use it just for themselves, or do you unzip it and lay it flat so you can both?
I was going to say tear it in half, but that works
it
too.
It unzips.
Okay, that's fine, I guess. My
survival
survival instincts are built different.
God. I'm sorry, King Solomon. I'm sorry.
Well, look, if you tear it in half, then you both have two little bags, and if you ball up inside it, then you can both be inside a sleeping bag. But they're, you know what I mean?
Or if you just unzipped it all the way, it could either be like a pallet you lay it on, or one big blanket that you can both be under, or you could zip it back up if it's really cold, and you could cuddle up in the same sleeping bag. If something.
I was thinking like a hot pocket, and you split the hot pocket in half, and then you both tuck yourselves inside the hot pockets. I'm serious. I think my logic here is good, but anyways,
we may need some illustrations here to figure out which way would be best. Tell us in comments what you think. Which way?
Yeah.
Which way would work best there?
Yeah.
In the meantime, we have one more story here. How big of an astronaut do you think OP was in that story?
Ascon 4s should have done it differently, right?
Could have. 3 is should have.
I think it's 3. Even if you chose to go stay, I think both of you are probably. I don't know. I am hesitant to call the person who is alone in the airport an asshole, but I think the way that she acted made her a bit of an asshole. But I think it's probably like a 4 and a 3.
Yeah,
I think so.
I'm a step more severe than you are here, and I think I think OP's a 2 and her friend is a 4.
Okay, I think that's fair as well. I agree with that. She just
definitely shouldn't have done what she did, because when safety becomes involved, it's choosing your comfort over someone else's safety is pretty.
They're very young.
Yeah,
which is another big thing. Which younger people are selfish. I know I'm selfish, but
you only find out how selfish you really are when you have kids. And even then, like we're humans, we're going to be selfish to an extent.
Yeah, of course.
But you discover when you have kids, like all the things that were selfish to you before that you can no longer do, or that get harmed or harder. And that shines a light on it. But this kind of situation shines a light on it too.
However, to the commenter, it was very well written. You did a fantastic job. If I was going to a concert and I was like, I'm getting these good tickets, like front row, like I paid this for it. Can you go? And my buddy was like, I can't. I can go, but I can't do that seat. I'm like, cool. We'll both ride down there together. You sit there. I'm sitting here because I got these tickets and I want to experience the show. You know, it's not, if that's selfish, sue me, but I'm going to want to get my seats out. I think you can still experience the show like that with your friends without sitting exactly together. Maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm an asshole. If I am, butter me up and call me Sally. But
I think that might be a dude thing too. Because I think if
True.
I think
yeah,
ladies
me and my
would be
friends could
less
me and
less
my friends
accepting of
could
that.
enjoy a concert perfectly fine and be sitting like 3 rows apart. You know,
because you understand that it's the show you're going for. It's not the
Yeah.
companionship of your buddy.
Most of the time-
not during the show.
most of the time I'm in the pit too at concerts and stuff like that, and like
You're
it's
not with
kind
your
of
friend
status
anyway,
quo that you lose your friend within the first 2 minutes of being in the pit.
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and then you find each other afterwards. You're deaf. You can barely hear anything. You're like walking around. Lights are going crazy. And you like walk through the freaking confetti and smoke and see your friend coming out of the shadows. And you're like, dude, I can't hear. Anyways.
And that's the sign of a good time.
Yeah.
Right.
100%. And then you recap everything in the car.
And to the commenter, it was like the companionship of
was
experiencing it together.
It was also the way that the commentator explained the story, the way that the friend who was getting the better seats went about it was kind of a bit snobbish,
Yeah.
which the way that I go about it, it's not snobbish. It's like, okay, we'll both go. We can both drive down there, have a great time. It's just, I got lucky enough to get these cool seats, you know, like as long as we're both getting to go, you know, like that's how I think about it. But I understand how that situation could be taken as a bit snobbish, and that's not cool either. So that's just something I wanted to talk about.
The approach probably needs some help.
And vice versa. If I couldn't, I've gone to concerts where my buddies have had better seats than me, and I'm like, as long as I
Live
get to
it
go,
up.
as long as I get to go, like heck yeah, I'm down. So you know, and I didn't take offense to them having better seats. I was just happy to go. So, yeah. Anyways,
You had a mutual understanding there, though.
yeah, that we were going for the show.
They did not.
Yeah.
All right, our very last story of this podcast with Kadin Thunder comes from Petty Revenge and is titled, "She Tried to Plagiarize My Work. I Went Nuclear." We don't need to cast a vote on this one.
Yeah, it sounds pretty bad.
Yeah. During my freshman year at university, I had been working on a group project with 4 other people. We had completed an experiment as a part of a physics module, and each needed to write a report, approximately 2,500 words, to be assessed. As the deadline for this module fell slap bang in the middle of a really active few weeks, I took the uncharacteristically organized decision to write and submit my report a few weeks early. Job done. Free to party over varsity week.
Hoorah.
One of my colleagues left everything until the last minute and called me in a panic 2 days before the due date and asked if I could share my report with her so that she understood how to structure the report and present the data. Me being a bit dopey and probably still a bit intoxicated from a week of partying, sent her my report in its entirety. The following day, night before submission, she called me again and asked if I could proofread her report and make any minor adjustments I saw fit before she submitted. I agreed, and she emailed the document over. Much to my horror, she had basically copied and pasted my entire report. I could not believe that she was moronic enough to send me the report to look at, given she had plagiarized the whole thing. This is where I became quite vengeful and petty. I first used find and replaced function on Word and replaced commonly used words from our experiment with vulgarities, and then replaced a step-by-step methodology from our experiment with a step-by-step recipe for spaghetti bolognese. The data table was replaced with the box scores from the NFL games the weekend.
Oh no.
I took the time to change the authors' names and her references to characters from Harry Potter, i.e. Weasley et al., 2009, Dumbledore and Grindelwald, 2008, to top things off. I rewrote her conclusion as a confession that she had attempted to plagiarize the report. I sent the revised document to her and fully expected to receive an angry phone call in response. I did receive an angry phone call 3 weeks later when she was called in for a faculty meeting due to the academic misconduct. Apparently, being the dingbat she was, she had not even proofread the document I had sent her and had submitted it. She She hadn't just failed the module, but was under threat of expulsion,
Oh.
as though trying to blame me for the content of the document. She had inadvertently admitted to attempted plagiarism. Upon returning to the faculty 5 years later as a research fellow, I discovered that the director of teaching had kept a copy of the report and routinely showed it to students as a warning not to plagiarize.
That is phenomenal.
Slow clap for
Slow.
you, baby.
Sorry,
That is a slow clap for you. That is great. Yeah, I want to read this report.
That is great. Yeah.
Please, OP.
I don't even think you're an asshole for doing that.
Not at all. Not at all. It was just warranted. It's like somebody stole something from you and then sent it to you to look at and make sure it looked good.
She didn't even look at what you changed. She was just like, oh, she proofread it. It must be good.
I don't even think she opened the document.
No, I don't think so either.
She was like, oh, cool. It's better. It's great.
Oh,
I'm sure
yeah.
it's better now. Her first round was great.
Dumbledore did say that. Yeah. Yeah.
Dumbledore made
Expecto Patronum, page
spaghetti
5.
bolognese.
At the
What?
NFL. Was Taylor Swift there?
Dumbledore did what to spaghetti bolognese?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
That was fantastic.
That is great. Yeah, I really want to read it. That's it. I really want to read it.
Yeah. Send it to us.
So what's what's your takeaway from the stories that we've read today?
Broth is watery. Not thick. Fiddle only has one side. Those are the two things I remember.
These are very important.
And the term meat wallet.
Yeah.
Those are my takeaways.
Do you know what meat wallet means?
Is it like where you store things in your coochie? like if you need to keep a pen in there or something? That's what I thought you meant. I figured you meant like, like keep a couple of Jolly Ranchers stored somewhere. I don't know. What is a meat wallet?
I mean, look, if you got to carry some butterscotch candies and you don't have any pockets, what are you going to do, really?
Keep some butterscotch candies.
It's like
you can't put them in your handies.
It's like a butt box.
Oh, so it's a butt.
Yeah.
So it's not a coochie.
No. It's that's a meat wallet.
I thought it was a coochie. I'm gonna stop saying that word now.
It's a butt box.
A butt box. That's like bird box almost, but with butts.
Yep. Truly. But I'm sure there's a much more technical Urban Dictionary definition of what meat wallet is. So maybe consult with that.
Yeah. Maybe I'm right. Maybe not.
Maybe this whole section here is getting cut out.
Probably. We could just, it'd be funny if we just censored every single word we said.
Oh,
but
yeah.
kept it in here.
Yeah, that would be smart. We should do that. So just cut that part out.
I don't know.
Yeah.
You can say coochie on YouTube, right?
Yeah, that's not the word I'm worried about.
Meat wallet?
No, not really. We'll see. It's the whole thing. The whole thing is concerning.
The whole thing.
The whole thing. Truly. truly it is. The whole fiddle thing, though, was fantastic.
Nah, I thought that was, I've been saying that. I've said that before in like legitimate, like professional settings.
Comments, please. Let me know if this is the thing.
Maybe, I have no doubt that it's not. Now, I'm me, but I don't know.
It could be. Okay,
Yeah.
You know what we're gonna do right after this, and actually, let's do it real quick. And
Okay.
I just want to see if she answers. I'm gonna message Kadin Thunder and say, is it playing both sides of the field or both sides of the fiddle?
We're gonna make a guest call. What's that show where you can call in helplines? Is it Impractical Jokers?
I think that was Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
That is
you
not
had
Impractical Jokers.
You had a phone a friend option in there.
Shout out Murr.
Is it playing both sides of the field or playing both sides of the fiddle? All right. I don't know if she's going to respond quickly, but I'm willing to sit here until she does. So we'll just keep recording. We'll have to cut out whatever silence we end up dealing with here. But we'll see if she ends up responding here, which would be ideal.
Yeah.
But I'm just curious what she would say, because if she says fiddle, I'm going to, number one, shit my pants, and smear it all over the walls. But number 2, then I'm going to have to Google it and see if I'm wrong, see if I'm crazy.
How crazy would that be if I was right and there was poop on the walls?
It would be really crazy.
That would be something.
I'm drawing fiddles with poop all over the walls.
What exactly is a fiddle?
It's like a violin, but I don't know if it has a size difference, but it is used for like bluegrass, like more
bluegrass,
old school country music.
Gotcha. A fiddle.
Yeah.
Playing the fiddle.
Also, if you know the Riddler has the question mark as a sign.
Yeah.
What is the Diddler's?
No. Bottle of baby oil.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. Or yeah, it's about as far as we can get into that.
That's what he said.
Oh no.
Okay, she hasn't even looked at the message yet, ladies and gentlemen. So I can try to call her and see. Let's do that. Let's try to call her. I'll put it on speaker and see if we can.
We'll see. Waiting for the final verdict.
If she doesn't answer, we just have to move on from this. We'll add it as a graphic at the end of this if we can get her response here. Well, this is anticlimactic. I do now have recorded proof, that my wife never answers my phone calls. Never. I swear, there's the ability to prioritize conversations on your phone. I think I've been downgraded, like below the norm, so that it's like only disturb me sometimes with this ass.
Priority level fiddle.
Yeah. I'm down there in the fiddlesticks.
Fiddlesticks. What are fiddlesticks?
I really don't know.
Hmm.
We're going to have to find that out.
Chat.
Help
fiddlesticks.
Help us. And is it one side of the fiddle or one side of the field?
And would you?
I mean, both sides.
Would you unzip the sleeping bag, or would you split it down the middle like a hot
tear
pocket
it in half.
and tuck both of your bodies into the hot pocket pieces?
Like half a hot pocket.
Yeah, but each, you can ball yourself up and tug yourself in there so you're both covered. I think that's what I would do if I was in the woods.
Well, please don't let me get lost in the woods with this guy. Please.
We're making it through.
We're going to be having a 3-day summit to try to determine what to do with the one sleeping bag we have.
We're going to be splitting it down the middle like a fruit roll-up.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for hanging out with us. This has been another episode of the Dusty Thunder Podcast with Kadin Thunder.
It's always a blast.
It really is always a blast. And Kadin Thunder, shout out for the good mix of stories that you had that were kind of
100%
right in the wheelhouse for us here.
Lots of provoking conversations.
Yes, and nothing super duper heavy.
No.
All pretty entertaining shit. Shout out. All right, thanks so much for being here. Please drop a comment and let us know what your thoughts are on this podcast. Please share it with a friend, too. We'd like to get in front of more people.
And follow my Instagram at Kadinstorm, KADINSTRM.
Using his muggle name.
Yep.
All right, we'll catch you later. Thanks, guys.
Adios.
I have to pee.
I got to burp.